All right, so welcome everyone. Hi, welcome for this last quarter of the wheel, the quarter of mutation. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. I'm gonna share the screen and share a few things with you, and then we can start maybe talk about the transits and the whole quarter. So in case you guys have to go, feel free to just leave. This is recorded. The recording will be on my YouTube channel, which is Benjamin To, the HUB27. So you can have access to the recording on the YouTube channel. Before we start, I really want to thank Tom for all, the efforts, and every time he's showing up and, helping me and being present with me. And this is a real mutual success, mutual, work together. And so Tom, thank you very much for all, your time, your effort and dedication to help putting the word out there. Also, big thank you to Cheryl, who, she's helping me to manage the 6-2 Facebook group. So we have a Facebook group 6-2. So thank you, Cheryl, for helping with that. I always really appreciate. And I think that's it. So let's have a look. Yeah. So we have a little sondage, and we have 4 generators or manifesting generators with us today, 5 projectors, 1 manifester. Oh, that's cool. And we have a little bit more people who are born under the quarter of initiation. We actually only have 2 people under the quarter of mutation, 2 in civilization, some in duality. Yeah, that's cool. You guys are coming from all over the wheel. This is funny. All right, let me end that joke. And I can share that with you, I believe, Pop. And I can close it. All right. Well, here we are. I really have no idea what I'm going to say. I have an open head, open ajna. I'm right brain, right mind. So, and I'm total, completely open throat. So really have no idea what I'm going to say. But I know that as long as we go with strategy and authority and we ask questions and, we invite our projectors, we may gonna find some interesting information to share. I can start a little bit. I have a few things that I wanna share, and then Tom, if you want to continue, I will ask you a question and we can see what we can get out of your quote. Right? Sounds good to you?
Fantastic, Ben. Fantastic, as always. Carry on, brother, for as long as you like, and then we'll just take a ride and see where it takes us.
Yeah.
What we did the last time and seemed to work.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, the first things I can share with you. So this is the beginning of quarter of a mutation, here, and it ends here, we spent the last 3 months dealing with ourselves. That was personally my own experience, the quarter of duality. This is a purpose that is fulfilled through bonding. And when we have a look on the quarter of duality, the first hexagram of the quarter is the hexagram 7. And when we look at the left angle of the hexagram 7, we have the left angle cross of the mask. So here, when we entered in this quarter, it was all about, are we able to put down the mask? Are we able to finally show up as ourselves, authentically, so we can what? We can meet ourselves. This is the end of the quarter of duality, hexagram 44, coming to meet the gate of alertness. So are you alert the way you go out into the world and the way you engage with people? Are you, still wearing your mask, not showing who you are, living a not self life, or whatever the case is? This is duality, self, not self. And it's also bonding. So how are you bonding with others, and mostly with yourself. So we went out of this quarter, and now we are in the mutation. So all the work that have been done, done during the duality is going to be a reflection during the mutation. So if you bond correctly with yourself during this duality period, well, mutation may be pretty enjoyable. But if you're still living a lie, not really confronting yourself, not really bonding with yourself, in a way that is pretty authentic, well, maybe mutation is going to be a huge transformation, because that's what the quarter of mutation is all about. This is a purpose that is fulfilled through transformation. And here it is, first hexagram of the first hexagram of the quarter. So the hexagram first, the number 1. It says the creative, the gate of self-expression, as yang as possible. I mean, look at the 6th line, yang, such a creative forces. And not only the first hexagram in yang, the opposition in the will is the second hexagram, which is yin, yin. So we have a total, completely opposition here. We're still in some way in the duality. Can you feel it? We have on one hand the huge creative forces, and on the other hand, the huge receptive forces, that is yin as it can be. How interesting is that? And when we look at it, it is the right angle cross of the Sphinx. The Sphinx is nothing else than, showing us new directions, putting us into a new direction. And the Sphinx, with the vessel of love, they are the only 2 incarnation cross that all the gates are in the G center. So we have 4 gates about directions that are in the G center. And after the hexagram 1, what do we have? The 43, which is the right angle cross of the 4 ways, marking the 4 ways, So I really enjoy looking at transit. And, I have to be honest, it's difficult times, difficult times. I feel so lost. I mean, my mind feels so lost. My mind has no idea what the hell we are doing on planet Earth. I just moved in. This is my new place, literally today. And it doesn't really feel good. I don't even know why I'm here. I don't even know what the hell I'm doing here. But I had no resistance at all. It went so smooth. So smooth. The whole moving process so easy and smoothly. Maybe not in the timing that I wanted to, but now I'm here, and I just don't understand. And the only thing that I can do is to sit here, sit tight, and observe, and being receptive. Oh, gling, 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 gling. What? I mean, what is that? Where is it here? The first gate, the creative, but what is grounding us? The earth, the receptive. That's the only thing I can do. I can be receptive to the direction of the self. Receptivity as the primal base through which any response is determined, the root of action. And not only we have a very interesting configuration, because not only this is the sun and earth, it is also the nodes. We are still in this nodal configuration, Anyway, that's my opening for today. Little thing I wanted to share with the wheel. And Tom, would you like to share anything? Is anything you want to respond to that?
No, you know me, I never have anything to say. And yet at the same time, look what's in the transit, the 4323. And this is a voice that speaks about what it knows. It's not talking about what it thinks. It's not talking about what it believes. It's talking about what it knows. Now, how lovely that Ben would start this out, pointing out that we are still dealing with duality, even though we're in mutation. We'll always be dealing with duality. So you have the scream into the void, the sperm heading for the egg, okay? Nothing is going to happen if there's no one here to listen to it. Ra used to say all the time that the exalted state, so I want to congratulate you, Ben, the exalted state for a generator, I don't know until you do know, okay? But I don't know means you're receptive to finding out. That's what it is to be a generator, to wait until something comes to you that you have to respond to. And so the way Ben and I do this is just the most lovely thing, and it's the only time I've ever seen this in 29 years of being in design. We cooperate with one another. There is no competition here. There is no one up, no one down. We look straight across and see brothers and sisters because that's what we truly are. You must remember, since the moment we started breathing and for hundreds of years before we started breathing, this whole world has been motivated by fear. And we just went through all the fear gates in the spleen, the second half of duality, it's all the fear gates. Now, fear is not necessarily a problem any more than doubt and confusion are a problem. It's a part of a process. Isn't it fear that causes you to look both ways before you step out into a street so you don't get hit by a bus? It's about survival. But we're not here just to survive. We're here to thrive, okay? And that's where we're going. The mirror to the spleen, all about survival, is what? The solar plexus. We know that we're going into a place, a six-line milieu, an emotional authority as opposed to an emotional motor. We know all of this stuff is happening. This is the duality. So you have a scream into the void. You had someone who may have heard the scream into the void. And then what do you have? The third hexagram, difficulty at the beginning. But wait a minute. There was a start before there was a beginning. Anytime someone offers you an ultimatum, either or, my response to that is, well, what's the third choice? Because nothing happens until the third choice. Difficulty at the beginning. Oh, we have a beginning, but there was a start before. And if you look at the 63 and the 64, the capstones of this, before completion and after completion, that's what they are. They're capstones. And it's rather interesting because after completion comes before completion. It's really hilarious. Okay, so let's go right into this quarter. That's just a preamble, but let's go right into this quarter. The creative, the most powerful force in the universe. What is it? Starts with an L, ends with an E. I'll let you figure that out. It's not evil. Starts with an L, ends with an E. This is what we are to be motivated with from this point forward. Fear caused us to survive. There seems to be plenty of us running around right now. It's not about survival anymore, okay? And then, as we go through the awareness centers, okay, so we can survive, but who would want to survive if it's not interesting? There's the mind. It must be interesting, all right? But who would want to survive if it's interesting, if it feels like shit at the end of the day? You see the progression in these awareness centers? And where we're going to a place is where it actually feels good. All this frustration, anger, bitterness, disappointment, this is not what we were designed for. This is an aberration. People talk about how they want things to go back to normal. I've said it 1,000,000 times. I'll say it another 1,000,000 times. Normal's a setting on the damn dryer, folks. That ain't going to do nothing for you. This appears to be a circle, but it is not a circle. It's a spiral. We're moving through space. So each time we come back to the same place in the wheel, we're in a different place in space. Just like our genetics, it's a spiral. Okay? All right, so what do we get if we've been paying attention? If we found our voice in the second quarter and know what voice we speak with and are not ashamed to speak with it, and then we got in touch with our fears in the second half of the quarter of duality, but we've kind of got an understanding about those fears. They're functional to a point, but we can't spend our whole lives being motivated by them. Then what do we get? When we get back to the creative force, love, the most powerful thing in the universe, what's next? 43rd hexagram. Oh, there's something to know. There's a breakthrough possible that we may or may not have been aware of up until we get to this point in space. This is not a wheel. This is not a dog chasing its tail. This thing is moving. Each time we come back to the same place in the wheel, we're in a different place in space. So let's look at these. Let's look at this, go through this situation. We start with the cross of the Sphinx. Turn the noisemaker off here, folks. He's cotton picking phones. Okay, so we start with the cross of the Sphinx. What are we getting? A creative perspective on a direction. What do we come to? The juxtaposed cross. The juxtaposed cross of what? Self-expression. Wait a minute. Is it yourself that you're expressing? Or is it everyone else's opinions about yourself that you're expressing? The whole business why the mind is a problem. Mind is not a problem. We're not trying to become Hindus. We're not saying no mind. We're saying noisy mind is useless. And trying to commit energy with two centers that don't have energy is where the identity crisis comes from. The identity crisis is what creates the noise in the mind. A quiet mind connected to a heart. Now we have something incredibly useful that we can make use of. We have a phenomenon called wholeheartedness. If we could feel, remember, we're going to emotions. If we could feel what we were doing before we would do that, we'd be a lot more cautious about what we do to ourselves and other people, right? Something to ponder. Something to ponder. So what do we come to after expression? First and foremost, if you can't express yourself, what are you expressing? The not self. How can two not selves ever have been in a relationship? It's not possible. This is the beauty of design, that it has a transforming capacity. It can bring something to you that was taken away from you. It can get you back to your true identity. Simple, simple, simple. Follow your type, follow your strategy, be aware of your authority, speak with your own voice. We've turned this thing into a popularity contest. There's nothing wrong with being popular, but if you're trying to win a popularity contest, who's making your decisions? The people you want to be popular with are making your decisions. You're not making your decisions. What does the sound of a creature sound like when they do exactly what other people tell them to do? As you're being led off to slaughter, right? Where the anger, where the frustration, where the bitterness, where the disappointment comes from. Simple, folks. This doesn't have to be that complicated. You want to turn human design into 2 words? Every communication I ever got from Ra, it always ended with the same 2 words. Love yourself. If you love yourself, you're broadcasting that and you attract love into your life. If you're still suffering from an identity crisis based upon being at a costume ball with a mask on and trying to please everyone around you, nothing wrong with pleasing other people if it's yourself. But if you're trying to, if that's your goal, I have to please everybody. How well does that work for you? You're not expressing your voice. You're not expressing what you know. You're trying to get other people to be happy with you because you agree with them. Well, then they're making your decisions. Now, let's just move along this wheel. Left angle cross of defiance. I must defy that. I can't live that way. I can't be creative if I'm not myself. And anything I create if I'm not myself isn't going to be satisfying. It isn't going to create peace. It isn't going to create sweetness. It isn't going to create surprise. This life was never intended to be a struggle. It was not intended. We turned it into that based upon accepting what everybody else told us. Wait a minute, 43rd hexagram is called a breakthrough. That's your own thought, not somebody else's thought, your thought. Ask yourself, how many of the things that I think on a daily basis were actually my original thought? versus how many of those things were put on my hard drive by well-intended parents, well-intended lovers, well-intended whatever. You know what they say, the road to hell is paved with, right? Good intentions. So let's be cautious with all that. All right. So there's something we have to defy. We have to defy not being creative as ourselves. That's what the cross of defiance is. It's not a negative force. It's a positive form of denial. We're asked to bear true witness to ourselves. Do not bear false witness. Well, if you're not bearing false witness, what's the opposite? And you're bearing true witness. Be yourself. I'm so pleased with how many people are not hiding behind a black screen. For those of you that are hiding black screen, I'm not wagging a finger. I'm saying this is not a place to come and hide. This is a place to come and be seen by others and be comfortable being seen by others. That's what we want to defy. Okay? So, what do we come to? Here we are, folks, empowerment. The next two gates are the two most powerful gates in our design. Possession in great measure, that's pretty cool. And the power of the great, the 14 and the 34. What it is to be an archetype that knows where it's going and why it's going. That's your empowerment. If you paid attention, if you found your voice, guess what the universe gives you? You don't have to go out and get this. The universe gives it to you. Possession in great measure. Let me make that point a little more clearly. If you look at the 14, it's coming out of the sacrum. We know that's power. What does it have to go through in order to empower the identity and direction of a human being? The receptive. Are you receptive? Those of you who know about variable know that we're going from a completely strategic world back to a very receptive world. Thank God. Women get to use their voice in the world. They're being elected to office. All this stuff is so progressive to empower everyone. Ben uses a 4426, and he's the first person I ever heard say this. Maybe a lot of people said it, and I just didn't hear it before Ben said it. The 4426 is not about success. It's about mutual success. It's a mirror to the 4037. What's the 4037? Community. This is about not tribal warfare. This is about tribal peace. Remember, we talked about if you could feel what you were doing before you were doing it, you would be more careful about what you do. So, 30, cross of contagion. The right angle cross of the 14 hexagram. Contagion. Contagious. That's interesting. People will be infected by this. It's contagious. How lovely. We can cooperate instead of compete. The only way we're going to get where we're going from this point forward, boys and girls, we get in a boat and paddle in the same direction. We cooperate. They're taking on Darwin now. He used to say it was the survival of the fittest. Well, he was an Englishman. They were the greatest colonialists in the world until America came around. And now we're the great colonialists. And we need to get the fuck over it. This is not a competition. This is not a process that leads to where we are the second most dangerous things to ourselves. You know, the only thing that kills more humans than a human? A mosquito. I mean, that ought to tell you there's room for some movement here. We're not going around in a circle. Shortly after the invention of a bow and arrow, it should be recognized that war has to cease as a problem-solving mechanism because it doesn't solve problems. It just creates the next battlefield, creates the next fear. All right. Contagion. What? The juxtaposed cross of empowerment. Are you getting what's available if you're just being yourself and making your own decisions? Do you see what the universe is offering in the quarter of mutation? That's the mutation, self-empowerment. Not empowerment of the not self, empowerment of the true self. So simple. Type, strategy, authority. Doesn't matter how much you know about design. What matters is that you're making your decisions correctly as yourself. That will transform you. If you could repeat every word that Ra ever said, it wouldn't do a damn thing for you. A tape recorder can do that. What's important is, did you get the breakthrough? Remember, right after the creative, what do we have? The breakthrough. Aha, the light just went off. Something's new coming in. And this channel, the genius of the channel of the genius and the freak. What's the difference between a genius and a freak? Don't spend any time on that question. There's no difference between one. The difference perceived is that the genius can explain what he knows and the freak cannot, but you both know the same thing. Now, if you're awake and aware and follow your type and strategy, what you know becomes useful, and you're empowered by becoming receptive to that. We're leaving the cross of planning. We're going into the cross of the spirit. The spirit is what's actually alive in you. This body is just a vehicle. There's a passenger in that vehicle. It's a spirit. So we go on. The cross of uncertainty. Why is it uncertainty? Because it's absolutely the opposite of what we've been trained to think, believe, and do. We're human beings. How do we start a conversation with someone? What do you do? What the hell does that have to do with anything? I don't give a damn what you do. I've been interested in who you are. And if you want to intimidate the hell out of somebody, start a conversation. Tell me something about yourself. Oh my God, what does a person say? Now, if you have something to say in that moment that you're clear about, it's indicative. That's a barometer for how well you know yourself and actually are being that self. If you're intimidated by that question, you got work to do. It's okay. We all have work to do. Okay. Uncertainty. That's all it's about. But bear in mind, the cross of uncertainty, when you get to that left angle, you have the sun and the 8. What does it say? It says, I know I can make a contribution. I know I can make a contribution to what? A creative process. What's creative? Love. What's destructive? Fear. See where we're going, folks? If you trade fear for love and cooperation, your life is going to start becoming easier. And this whole value system says, oh, he who dies with the most toys wins. Ask Putin. Is he satisfied? Ask Trump. Is he satisfied? I don't care what your politics are. This isn't about politics. But he who thinks he's going to win having the most toys, your toys own you as much as you own them. There's a different value system coming, folks. And we don't know what it is, because since for hundreds of years before any of us started breathing, we were handed this value system. Doesn't lead to anything really beautiful, does it? So I'm going to take a little break, and then I'll take up again. But I would like to give Ben an opportunity to say something, because when I yap, he has something to respond to, and I love his responses. And so does everybody else, or some projector may feel recognized. Wow, okay, that's what we want to hear. We don't want to hear about problems. We want to hear about solutions, because that's what's being offered in the quarter of mutation. Solutions to problems, breakthroughs, return to the inner truth to get the aha and then explain it. That's the voice you're listening to. 23rd hexagram, 3rd line, that's my voice. Incidentally, it's the same voice Ross spoke with. And you know what he used to say? I never know what I'm going to say until I say it. How cool is that? Means you're receptive. There was even a part of Ra that was mildly receptive. Okay, so enough from me for a while. Let's open this thing up a little bit, and then we'll take off again, if that's what we want to do.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. For I have so many things to say. I think that the first things really, like the most important things, my takeaway on that, you know, you often mention this duality, after all, between love and fear, you know, and how amazing is that we ended the quarter of duality with all the gates of the spleen, right? So all the fear gates. And then we have this opportunity when we start the mutation to actually mutate from the fear and to express what, like you say, with the creative, the hexagram 1, which is love. Because the position in the wheel, you know, the 2, the receptive, what are we receptive to? And the first gate, well, the harmonic gate is the 8, which is, you know, contribution. So what kind of contribution can we bring into the world out of the fear? You know, if we find the way to mutate, because mutation is all about transformation. So we're going to transform, we're going to mutate, we're going to move out of fear into love. And then, you know, we have the breakthrough. We are in possession in great measure. We do recognize that we do have power. We can finally focus on the details that really matter to us, you know. Then we can start a new logical pattern, so we can transform and mutate what the tribe, the way we have been selling things to the tribe, you know. Are we going to continue to sell war, or are we, you know, finally collaborate together? Because that's what the 26 is all about. After all, the 26 is the T cells, you know. This is the soldier. This is the gate of the soldier, you know. It's like it's going to kill you. So are we going to continue to do that? Well, maybe we have another idea. You know, what about, you know, looking at our behavior? What about maybe transforming and mutating the way we see ourselves, you know, so we can love ourselves? Because what is the 11 hexagram? You know, peace, peace. Can we be at peace with ourselves? And then, you know, the hexagram 10, 6th line is the role model. And, you know, it's looking at what? The next hexagram, which is the 58, the joy, the joyous, the joy. And then the 38, the opposition, recognizing what is worth fighting for. So we can mutate and transform to what? Having the drive for transformation, the merry mundane. Transformation for what? So we can finally get back to inner truth and not being fed with so much crap that we cannot even, you know, contain all that nonsense in our head. Oh, and after the inner truth, ooh, we're going to have a sense of limitation. But we need to accept our limitation. And actually, the truth can be extremely limited, to recognize that we are passenger consciousness sitting in the body. Talking about limitation, you know, we're stuck in those bodies in some way. The spirit is here in those bodies. And then what do we have to continue to mutate and transform? Decrease. 41st hexagram, the start codon. Oh, the beginning of the genetic sequence, you know, the sequence of human being, of the human experience. Maybe we can start over here. Maybe we can get ready to start again, to go into a new cycle. For that, how are we going to approach our needs? We have been mutating the whole winter, the entire time, the mutation, the transformation, to finally reach the last hexagram that is all about how do we approach our needs. Do you approach your needs with fear, or do you approach your needs with love? You know? And then we start the initiation quarter. Who do you listen to? What are your principles? How does it feel? Are you looking at the cup of the glass of water half full or half empty? You know, the spirit, so forth and so on. And then we're back in the game again, back with the initiation. But that's a way of looking at mutation. So yeah, it's going to be a very interesting time. Winter, you know, in shamanism, winter, it's a very good time of the year to have introspection, investigation, you know, taking time to slow down. Days are way shorter. We get less sun. We stay home. We nurture ourselves. We digest the rest of the year, you know, the entire initiation, civilization, duality. We can take the time to digest whatever happened during the year. This is a very retreat time, introspection time. I love winter. You know, here in France, in the Alps, we used to say, oh, winter is coming. Let's see who is going to make it, you know? And I remember when I was a little bit younger, people didn't even really ask, how old are you? They were asking how many winters you went through. You know, they were asking how many winters you went through. Winters are amazing. Carries a deep, deep, deep potential for mutation, for introspection and transformation. Yeah.
Well done, Brother Ben.
Thank you.
Well done. You're watching cooperation in action here. The sun today is in the first hexagram, fourth line. And what does it say? Aloneness as a medium of creativity. Wow. See, my sun is a gate of aloneness, one of the three. I love being alone. I sometimes can feel I would like company, but I literally have learned to love to be with myself. If you love your own company, somebody else is liable to love it as well. If you don't love your own company, if you are scared shitless to spend any time with yourself, what do you think you're broadcasting to other people? Okay, anyway, more voices. But Ben, I love working with you. I love playing with you. I love the joy that comes out of all of us when we're being ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And not making any apology about it. You can't say anything stupid. You can't ask any dumb questions. You will never hear us say, well, that's a stupid question. It ain't going to happen. So, other voices. This is a coming to meet. It's not a lecture.
Mm-hmm.
It could be. But it'd be nice if we had more participants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, anyone feels, oh yeah, Bjorn, would you like to say something? Yes.
Hello, friends. Nice to see you again. I have something to share today. But first of all, I would like to respond to Ben. When I, how many winters you have survived. When I moved up here 8 years ago, the first man that became my friend, he was 92 years old. That moment, he was a farmer, 92. Bright as glycerine in his mind, just this man. And I shared with him, oh, it's so nice up here in the silence. And he looked at me and he said, you will find out the first winter. If you have made peace with yourself, you can stay here and you will stay. But if you are on the run, away from yourself, you will run away from this place. Okay. Every day I'm making dinner for my wife, and she is coming home from the work, and she's sharing as a leader at the hospital. She is sharing with me all the problems all the employees have, because they said, it's November. Oh, it's so heavy. It's so heavy. It's so heavy. Okay, is it? Is it something wrong with November? Or is it you? The way you take it. I will try to share my screen because I have prepared something. So, host has disabled participant screen sharing. Is it possible to change that? I'll try again. Yeah, it's working. Let's go here. Where are we? November. Here we are. Share. Yeah, here we are. Here we are. But first of all, this is me at the moment. It's my transit map. Something is going on up here. And I have this channel of openness, this design of the social being. It's active at the moment. So is this a design of the thinker, the channel of awareness. And this one, the structuring, this idiot or freak or genius, I don't know. Take a look at the transit. This thing, Neptune. Resistance. Okay. Look at this picture. What do you see? This is the movement of Neptune from today through 2023,
We're not seeing anything. We're just seeing the folders.
The folders.
Yeah, the files.
That's strange.
Yeah.
What do you? So you just in my screen?
Yeah, we don't see. We don't see it. We're just seeing like your files.
Huh. No.
No.
The screen sharing has stops as the shared window is closed.
Yeah.
Okay. Share screen.
Is can
Wait.
we?
Here, can you see it?
There you go.
Yeah.
There we go. This is what I want to share with you.
Okay.
This darkening of the light.
Mm-hmm.
At the moment, 36.1. The whole 2023 Neptune will stay in gate 36.
Mm-hmm.
The most of 2024, it's there. And it will go away in 2025. So this darkening of the light, the gate of crisis, the rule of cycles in which decline is a natural but not enduring state.
Mm-hmm.
This part of the program is present for every one of us. Mm-hmm. Behind the veil. We can't figure it out by mind. It's behind the veil. So this was the thing I wanted to share. Thank you.
Okay. Can I react to that? I mean, I know Bjorn quite well. He's the sixth line of the 36 hexagram. Justice. Think of the word justice. It just is. And what is the darkening of the light if it just is in its exalted state? Every crisis is an opportunity for progress. Every emergency is an opportunity to emerge and see. That's all it is. If you look at the 36, it leads to the 35. Progress. That's what it is. I said it earlier. It's not a problem any more than doubt and confusion. Not a problem. It is part of a process. We are involved in a process of deconditioning ourselves in getting back to who we actually are. Getting back to the just is. What's the truth? It's what just is. And everything else is false. And what's the false? That which appears to be true or may have been presented as being true, but doesn't end up being true because it isn't just is. It's just someone's opinion. So what? So I hope you get what's being said there. Bjorn, his sun is crisis, his earth is conflict. Did you get the feeling that that's bothering him? That's not bothering him. This is a man who's survived. I know, and I, share this experience with him. I've survived enough stuff to kill a dozen ordinary men in the last decade. Therefore, I know I am not an ordinary man. We think that every time some kind of thing comes up that bothers us, oh, there must be something wrong with me. Well, there is. It's a matter of perception. If you see the emergency as an opportunity to emerge and see, well, isn't that exciting? If you see the crisis as a potential for progress, isn't that exciting? So what causes it not be exciting? Fear. What would cause it to be exciting? Cooperation, love as a motivator. We got to quit seeing problems, folks, and start seeing solutions. So that's what I get from what Bjorn just shared. Sorry for the technical difficulties there, Bjorn, but we got there. And I know you so well that I know he's a projector. Projectors are here to be our guides. Every time I sit down with a projector, I'll say there's a joke going on here. And that's because I've been in design for 29 years. I'm in the position of being your guide, but you're in a much better position to be my guide than I am to be yours. Now, there's a second joke. If you were to look at my design, you'd see that 3 of my motors, my sun, my earth, and my authority are all in a projected element. So I actually understand these projectors quite well. 70% of what I am is a projector. You got to look deeper into these things to really get what's there. We look at a person who has 4 motors and you go, wow, nuclear power plant. Nuclear power plant that can melt down. That's what I am. And I did melt down, but I'm still here. And if you run from the bear, you give all your power to the bear. If you stand around and face what's in your face, make yourself as large as you can and scream at the bear, it'll stop in its tracks. They're not used to seeing that. They're used to seeing the ass end of people trying to get away from them. Don't give your power away. You're being offered power here in this quarter of mutation. What I want to know from people in design is what's different about you now that you couldn't lay claim to before you found design? And how is that affecting you? So this is what I'm bringing out about what Bjorn was presenting. Bjorn and I have both been on the battlefields. We have been through it all. We're still here. We're still here. Okay. Somebody else. Thanks, Bjorn.
Yeah, thanks to you guys. Yeah. You know, there's one thing interesting. And if you guys are born under the quarter of mutation, I would love to hear as well your experience. But I can really feel that I'm only interested in mutation. I'm only interested in transformation. Everything that I do, it has to mutate. It is for a purpose of transforming, you know, and I'm not interested in initiation. I'm not interested in civilization. I couldn't give a, gonna be polite, but I just don't care. I just don't care. I don't care connecting. I don't care civilization, all of that. What really excites me is transformation. And the way actually I bond with people and I connect is when I can see mutation, is when I can see transformation. So that's for me, you know. So I don't know how it is for you guys who are born under the quarter of mutation as well, but I really like that. I really like seeing mutation and transformation. And that's how I fulfill my purpose. It's how I feel nourished, you know. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything else to say.
Well, I'll say something. We're moving towards a 6-line milieu. We're moving towards the idea of returning to wisdom. If you go and read all of the hexagrams, the 6th line of it, you'll get a lot of information about where we're heading. And I would think that it would be a relief to every single one. Now, this is not a hierarchy. We 6-line beings would not have the view if it wasn't for the 1-3s and the 1-4s establishing the foundation and testing the foundation that holds us up there. This is not about anybody being better than anybody else. Everybody has a function. And if you're following your type, your strategy, your authority, you're fulfilling your function, which gives the fuel for mutation. But 6-line beings, quad rights, people that are 3 parts quad, 3 parts right, what choice did we ever have? We came here to be a part of this process. And it's happening now. It's happening. And it's like a new pair of shoes. It's uncomfortable for a week, and then they're the best damn shoes you ever had in your life. You know, think about how we got here. The woman that gave birth to you went through excruciating pain, which turned into absolute bliss the moment you were out of her. Doesn't have to be a lifelong process. Things can be rather quick if you're paying attention. So anyway, I'm delighted with this quarter of mutation, because what's it going to do for my quarter? Mutate relationships into actual ships where who your passengers are with you, you can relate to. The most important ship you will ever get in right now is a relationship that is actually functional. It's not based upon, oh, I'm scared shitless, I need someone to save me. It's like, I'm awake and aware. I'd like to have someone awake and aware to spend some time with. Our relationships are going to be based upon awareness more than who we give permission to touch. Cats and dogs can do the same thing. So what? That's not a relationship. It's a procreative process, but it's not a relationship. A relationship is when you can actually relate to the people that you're with. And how can two not self-relate to each other? You can't. So at any rate, this is the beauty of design. And I have such admiration for all of these quarters. But mutation's the point. And if you stop and think about it, think all these words that begin with RE, remind, remember, revolution. It's about getting back to the truth of who we are and letting go of the identity crisis, letting go of the fear which causes the identity crisis, letting go of the noisy mind which is caused by the same identity crisis and fear. This is the promise of design. And I'm a 40-37. Don't make a promise to me you're not going to keep. But what I'm witnessing is that human design keeps its promises for those people who are dedicated and pay attention. Ra, he saw very little of this, very, very little of this. But we are watching it happen. We have Darwin's birds in a cage, as he used to say. We are watching it happen. And we are also having the opportunity to be a part of it happening. So that's what's being offered here. If you can repeat every word that Ra said, so what? But if you are mutated, if you are moving in a direction of actually being yourself, that's exciting. That's something to get passionate about. You know, the sacrum makes you available once, but if you're going to continue to be available, it's the solar plexus that brings the passion for it. Remember, we're heading towards the passion. We're heading towards the solar plexus that actually functions as an awareness center. How does it feel at the end of the day? Well, if it feels good, we're going to do some more of that tomorrow. Mm-hmm. If it doesn't feel good, we're going to be looking for a better way.
Yeah. I I want to share something else with you that, you know, it just came up to me, but I mean, I'm a generator, you know, so I really study myself. I really, really, really like to look at myself, and most of my channels are individuals, you know, so I'm very self-absorbed in some way. But anyway, so what I used to do with my so I was born here on, you know, hexagram 10, 6th line. So this is my sun personality, and my earth is here on the 15. You know, this is the opposition in the wheel. So if you guys are born in the quarter of mutation, and you can do that with any quarters, but you know, it's a little thing that is pretty cool to do. So you get the hexagram that you were born, and you just add at the end of the hexagram, you know, the name of the quarter. So mutation. I have the gate 10, which is, you know, the gate of the behavior. And I'm here to mutate the behavior, you know. So can I transform my behavior? Can I mutate my behavior, you know, for what? For, you know, 15, the love of humanity, maybe, you know, for the extreme of, you know, the direction that we are taking, maybe, you know. So we can do that with all the gates, you know, the creative self-expression. Can we mutate the way we create and express ourselves? Can we mutate the way we break through and think and share, you know, our ideas and opinions? Can we mutate and transform the way we use our skills and energy? Can we mutate the way we engage with powerful energy? Can we mutate and transform, you know, the way we look at details and focus, you know, on things? Can we mutate and transform our patterns? The rhythm here, the fixed pattern that we have, you know, etc., etc. So you can actually do that all the way, you know, to hexagram 19. Can we mutate and transform the way we approach our needs, you know? And then you look at just the opposition in the wheel, which is kind of funny, you know? So the opposition of the 19 is the 33, you know? So can we mutate the way we approach our needs so we can make sense maybe of the past, you know, so we can withdraw, you know, and get some privacy with the 33, you know? I mean, this is a memory gate, you know, that says, I remember. So if we mutate the way we approach our needs, maybe we can say, oh, I remember. You know, that's a pretty cool things that you can do. This is mutation, you know. Yeah.
Again, those words that start with RE. It's about reuniting, remembering. That's what it's about. We were trained away from ourselves. And, you know, this business of what to approach, grounded in privacy. Can you spend some time with yourself and be comfortable with that? You will be surprised what comes through if you're not constantly distracted away from your actual self. If you have the ears to hear, you will hear. If you have the eyes to see, you will see. But if you're locked into some program that has nothing to do with you, you can't see or hear. I mean, I like this idea. We are returning to something.
Mm-hmm.
We're returning to how the universe actually operates.
Yeah.
And if you're operating the way the universe operates, you'll find out you're in the flow. That's what the whole 515 is about, being in the flow. It's why Ben gets so disturbed when somebody pulls him out of his flow. Wait a minute. You might as well just drown me in a bucket of oil.
Yeah.
You know, that's how sensitive he is to that.
Yeah.
And we all have that level of sensitivity if we're not covered up with nonsense. The job of an editor is to edit out the nonsense and keep the truth. That's when you see that the crisis is an opportunity for progress. There's a lot of voices around here. I'm getting tired of my own voice. I love listening to other people's voice. Believe it or not, I get tired of talking. I really do.
Yeah.
But I'm a community person. And if I can bring people into a community that actually is community, I'll talk forever. Particularly if I'm recognized, because if I'm recognized, then I run on 4 motors instead of 1. If I'm not recognized, I run on 1 motor. It is the power of the great. It is an archetype. I am an archetype. But that having been said, we can be more than ourselves. We can, if we have people around us that we can relate to, and that we can have intelligent conversations with about awakeness and awareness, there's community, there's family. I think we all still want community and family. We just don't want what it was turned into. We want to get back to its original idea. Those of you who have been parents, you love your children, don't you? They may piss you off, but you still love them, right? That's where we want to get back to that business of having love being the motivating factor. And that's what's in the identity. That's what's in the G center. You know what the G center is, the magnetic monopole, all that. It's that which holds the illusion of our separateness. You get the joke, folks? The separateness is an illusion. We were never meant to be successful at someone else's expense. We were never meant to be alone. We were meant to function as a whole group. What makes a diamond brilliant is all those facets. Each and every one of you is one of those facets. So if you've polished off your facet, that diamond is really brilliant. And all we're talking about when we're talking about polishing off your facet is being clear in who you are and being that. No one has a bad design. These things in our design that we think, oh, I don't want that, terminal disease. If you're following your strategy and authority, everything in your design is your ally. And if you're not, everything in your design is your adversary. I love those terminal disease lines. It's just a matter of understanding what you can correct and understanding what you can't correct and understanding the difference between those two. The old prayer of serendipity. Being in the right place at the right time. That's what serendipity is at.
All right. What time is it? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have much more to say, you know. It's yeah. Do you guys have any questions, comments, or observation? You know, projectors, you're really invited, you know, if you want to say something about this quarter, you know, and because at the end of the day, it is not about listening to me or no Tom, you know, something that I really understood with human design is that I'm the only one seeing the world the way I see the world, you know. So I can be an outer authority, but at the end of the day, this is my own perspective, you know, and what I'm sharing, it is out of a 6-2 generator born under the cross of prevention. So, you know, that's it. That's how I see the world. It's only me seeing the world like that. So I like hearing others, you know, because sometimes they bring contribution to the whole, especially when they are self, because, you know, when the not self is talking, oh gosh, and I have terminal disease. So I'm jumping on my chair and I just want to correct you because it, you know, it's pain to my ears. You know, it's funny. Anyway, yeah. Yeah. Do you guys have something to say? Do you guys have something to respond to? Oh, agree. Yes, please.
I just realized you are my mirror, Ben.
Oh, yeah.
I'm born under the quarter of initiation and has the channel of mutation, and you're the opposite.
Yeah.
Quite funny. You have the channel of initiation, don't you? And I'm born under the quarter of mutation.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah, good to
Yeah.
hear your voices again. That was all I wanted to say.
Ah, cool, cool. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Hey, I'm very much looking forward to come to Norway. I don't know when, but I feel this winter I'm gonna swing by and maybe say hi to all of you over there.
Summer is a better time. I suspect winter is dark.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you still have sun during the day, no?
Yeah, a bit, but it's raining a lot in Bergen at the moment. So
Oh, no snow?
no, there's less snow in the west coast. It's too mild. It's only raining.
Oh,
Björn has a lot of snow in his area, his inland.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, lucky Bjorn.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Mm.
I had the joy of spending some time in Iceland for a number of years. It's a remarkable place, Iceland is.
Mm.
But you want to go there when the sun's up a little bit more than in the wintertime. That having been said, there's something beautiful about the wintertime in the Northlands as well. Something absolutely gorgeous about it. But it takes some getting used to when the sun's only up for four hours a day, 5 hours a day. It takes some getting used to. It also takes some getting used to when the sun's up for 20 hours a day. You have to put black curtains in the windows so you might catch a little sleep. When I was in Iceland, I said, when do you people sleep? Oh, you sleep in the winter. There's nothing to do but sleep in the winter. But it was like being in a chicken coop. People are up running around 20 hours a day. It's really quite something to get used to. At any rate, the Icelandics are very remarkable people, as all the people in Northern Europe. There's something remarkable about that particular group of people. And that's a conversation for another time about a different topic, but I know why that is. But at any rate, it's a remarkable thing.
Nice. Well, yeah, maybe can I share more personal experience? You guys want to hear? Yeah. Well, so I born under the quarter of mutation, and I've been in this human design business for, when I say business, just like I met human design in 2012. So, it's been 10 years actually. And I really started with classes and, paying more attention at the end of 2016. So before that, I was half pregnant, like Ra said. I was 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and I wasn't really fully committed to it. So then, I started classes and all of that, and slowly led me to kind of teaching human design on a professional way. But today, I really feel the mutation that is transforming me in a way that I'm absolutely not interested anymore teaching anything on human design. I'm just whatever, I don't care. I'm a 6, I'm on the roof, leave me alone. I just want to play music, So it really, really mutates me in a way that I know the knowledge today, it's in me. I just want to live it. So leave me alone. I don't care teaching anything or showing you how to blah, blah. I just don't know. It's so what I find interesting is that after a specific point, or after a certain amount of time of consuming knowledge, experiencing, verifying that it works, if I just listen the sound and I wait and my channels and whatever is, after kind of really teaching that, verifying, experiencing, testing, and now I know it works and it's in me, and I just want to live it, and I just want to meet people who also had massive transformation, and I can vibrate with them, You know, that's where I'm at the moment. So this mutation for me, it's all about really, can we mutate in a way that we live on this plane? You know, can we just maybe stop talking and vibrating and just playing music and going back to the basic? And you know, so that's where the mutation is taking me. And it's interesting because now I have one foot in and one foot out again. I love human design, don't get me wrong, you know, I don't want to stop learning about it or reading about it or whatever the case is. And I don't want to stop, certainly not, you know, to meet with Tom and do all those things. And it's so cool. But I feel I don't want to teach anything. I don't want to, you know. So I don't know if it's a sixth line thing or maybe it's just the mutation. So yeah. Yeah, if you guys have anything you want to respond to that, or, you know, you relate and you want to share your experience as well, please do, because, you know, it's cool to hear from you.
I just had this conversation with a new mental projector friend of mine. And so I'm 43 and it took me a while to get on the roof. I've had a bunch of actually glorious but wild trials and tribulations. And I've come during COVID, I came back to the music too. That's all I want to do, sit on the roof and make music. Now I'm getting really into it. I'm 2 years into teaching myself electronic music production. But I realized that that's like so perfect, because that's like music in it and of itself is teaching and guiding, or, you know, giving something people to respond to. It's turning into the greatest synthesis of my life ever. And you're actually watching a breakthrough right now too, because for about 6 years, I've been so resistant to joining Zooms and like I've been so on the roof, so hermity.
Oh no.
Breakthrough right now. I'm very shaky. My heart's beating, but it feels like in a very good way. And that I'm heading into this, I wrote down this season of solutions, and where my mutations are going to finally reach and be enjoy. And yesterday I saw something beautiful posted about how, you know, we talk about trauma being trapped into our bodies, but what about, isn't joy and love trapped in our bodies as well? And that's been, I lost my cat last week, which is a huge, you know, vessel of love and duality thing to go through, but it's just been like just peeling back. And actually I'm 16/6 for my personality son. So I have been facing some indifference too. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, the world's all like, everything was nothing at one point. It will return to nothing at some point. So what the fuck's the point being here? Leave me alone. And it's actually like shaking that indifference away, because the point of being here is to love. And to grow into that. And so I'm going into this season of mutation, like loving myself more, understanding more about love, indifference being shaken away, and also understanding, like, now I have this vehicle to be able to express love while also loving myself for being a hermit that wants to be on the roof and left alone. But that music has the potential and the possibility and the probability for me to connect still while I'm sleeping or while I'm creating, or whether it's actual in real life or not. And I just think it's such a beautiful mutation to go into this way. I feel like everything you say just like lays down like a soft blanket of snow over my life and the process I've been experiencing.
Oh, nice. Nice, yeah.
Thank you for that contribution.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah,
You're
you know,
welcome.
every single contribution, everybody's got a point of view. It's perfectly valid as long as you recognize that's what it is. It's a point of view. It's not the view. It's a point of view. And everybody's point of view is valid. What I get excited about, because I'm a community guy born in a quarter of duality, is bringing the potential for people to be in genuine relationships and genuine families. And It's a different experience than most of us have experienced.
Mhm.
When we think about what the world has been, we're seeing what we don't want the world to be. But that doesn't mean there isn't a choice. The entire purpose for human design is to be able to make your choices as yourself. Now, when we're giving other options, when the smorgasbord has more things on it than just what we have known to be normal, it's very, very, very exciting. And so to have a reaction to the way the world has been and say, well, that's not that interesting, that's a sign of your awareness. That's a sign of an awakening. That's not a sign of you becoming negative. It's a sign of you desiring to be and have something more than what you've been and had up to this point. It's what makes us human, folks. The desire to be something more tomorrow than we are today, that is uniquely human, very uniquely human. And that's what we're here for. So winter, you pull back, you sit with yourself, you be with yourself, and you ponder, what do I really want in this life? And what can I let go of in this life to make room for what I really want? That's transformation. When people say something, they say, well, I don't give a fuck. Well, you don't give a fuck because it's not worth giving a fuck for, okay? But at the same time, that doesn't mean there isn't a choice. There is a choice. And it's a choice we haven't been exposed to that much. It's going to be lovely to be exposed to a group of upright bipeds that get along with one another, that have something interesting to share with one another. Not everybody is meant to be communal. That's okay. That's okay. Vive la différence, the French say. Vive la différence. Respect the difference. But it doesn't mean you can't make a contribution to one another's lives. If I didn't think human design was making a contribution to my life, I would have dropped out a long time ago. But it has made a contribution to my life. And that it's not a carrot that you can't reach. It's reachable, but you got to make room for it. And making room for it is about showing up, paying attention, and saying there's got to be an alternative.
Yeah.
Remember that third choice, coffee, tea, or me? Let's talk about that third choice that I'm not used to seeing on a menu, right? That's what we're hungry for. We're hungry for progress. The fourth line of the 35th hexagram is called hunger. It's hungry for progress. So,
you know what I'm seeing, Tom, as well,
Yes.
and I'm also slowly but surely, when I'm listening to you talking, it is so obvious for me that you're from the future. You're so far away in the future, and I can see that you bring actually this mutation into the duality. And for me, what I'm seeing really is that the system itself is in mutation because of all those 6 lines who are actually embodying the knowledge and way more interested in just simply living it than talking about it and learning everything that has to learn about the system.
Well said. Well said. I was never interested in the organizations, and yet they served a function.
Mm-hmm.
When I first told people I was into human design, they said, oh, so you design humans, you do, huh? Now, because of the efforts of all those things, and Ross said, boy, in 2020, it's gone more than shit's going to hit the fan. All these people that think the purpose of human design is to make a living in human design, it's not the purpose of human design. But that having been said, they did provide a service. If you look at Ben's unconscious, the 18.2 and the 17.2, that would be the cross of service. The service Ben provides unconsciously or consciously is to mutate people's behavior. Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Everybody has a role to play. There are no negative roles. Nobody has a horrible design. You were created by one creative force. That was love. You have a creative prerogative. We can make more of ourselves. You know how many kind of beings there are in the universe that can't reproduce themselves? We can. It's quite something to think about.
You know, it's can I
Yeah.
speak? Can I? Yeah.
Always.
Okay. Yeah. You know, it's very profound what you say, because the way human design is introduced, you know, how people share about it, we don't hear often really the accent and emphasizing on the fact that we are all so different, but not only we are all so different, we really have a function. We all do really have a function.
Mhm.
And you know, I can see, this is the irony of it, because I can see the homogenization in the human design industry, that everyone is trying to be a human design teacher and everyone wants to teach you something on human design. Like, I mean, not everyone is designed to be actually a teacher. Not everyone is actually designed to share this information. And I can really see that.
More than that, Ben, the 5-1. Well, I'll tell you, I'm as yang as anything you're ever going to meet, but it's the way out. It's over. It's not about telling people what to do. It's about demonstrating through your behavior and actions what to do. That's the role model. That's where we're going. Everybody can go there. You don't have to be a role model to go there. That's the milieu we're going into. There's opportunity for everyone, and it's a better opportunity than the paranoid insecure.
Mm-hmm.
Ra was a paranoid, insecure, reluctant messenger, but he was a damn good messenger. Thank you for your service, Ra. But if we don't get the message and make something of it, then he's going to say, you know, I wasted my whole life down there. He did not. But the majority of people on this planet have wildly ignored every revelation that's ever come to this planet. There's nothing new about this. You just have to decide which group of people you want to be a part of. Real clear for me that there's somewhere to go that we haven't been yet. And I'm so excited about it and so passionate about the possibilities.
Yeah.
I really am. It's just like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I mean, this is the 6th line. I know a lot of you are 6th line here, you know, 6-2s, because I only share the link to the Zoom into the 6-2 group, and I posted a little bit on my Instagram, so maybe a few other people are not 6-2s, but you know, 6th line at least, you know. That's the beauty of just embodying and living these things.
Mhm.
And then we can actually fulfill our function.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
human design is just a tool, but so far what I really like to do is music. I mean, I have the 15.5. It's my only one channel as a generator. 15.5 music, you know. And when people ask me, but how are you doing all of that? Like, how come you, wow, I mean, this seems like everything is easy for you. Like how? Like, well, you know, I've been using these things called human design, and I've been following what it is to be my strategy and my authority. I can show you a little bit, but you know, then it's go find out for yourself, and then you will find what actually is correct for you. And maybe it has nothing to do with teaching human design.
Mhm.
That's mutation,
Mhm.
at least for me and how I see it. And that's my experience of mutating. And I don't know if, you know, it speaks to you guys, if you want to share, if you want to. Yeah, and it's 7:30 here. Oh, yeah, who is? Yeah, Stephanie, you want to go? Yeah, go ahead, please.
Hi.
Hi.
This is a really nice energy in this group. I like it. It feels like
Uh-huh.
I don't have to explain myself. Like we just get each other, and it's
Uh-huh.
really nice.
Uh-huh.
I was born in the quarter of duality, 57,
Uh-huh.
and I think it was in the Wisdom Keepers group where you mentioned something about being a role model for yourself.
Uh-huh.
Can you speak to that a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. You know, I mean, this is the joke, 6-2s, when we come into the world, we are just 3-2 for the first 30 years of our lives, so we are third line, and we just run around making a bunch of mistakes and nothing is working. And the joke is that everyone is putting a huge amount of pressure on us to be a role model. They all have expectation on us because they project on the second line, they see our natural talent and they're like, oh, but you could be this and you could do that and you should do this and blah, 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 So at some point we grow up with all this pressure to be an example because they all have expectation on us. But, please keep in mind, we just a little role model-ish, we're not yet. So at some point we get all this pressure and everyone is believing that we have to be this role model for others, that we have to be an example for others. But the problem is that when you say yes to others, you're actually saying no to yourself. So you're sacrificing yourself to become something else, and you cannot be at all a role model because you're going to be nothing else than a hypocrite because you don't even, take care of yourself. So really the sixth line, the role model, it's all about becoming first for yourself. And it's not even becoming first for yourself. It's just be your own role model. That's it, done, period. You don't have to be a role model for anyone else, anyone. And then if you correct for yourself, then you can be actually a living example of what it means to be you, what it means to be unique. And what you're hearing talking right now, this is my son personality, my hexagram 10, the get of the behavior, 6th line, the role model.
Yeah, so it's like in being your true authentic self, you are being a role model. It's not like it's not like role model is something that you add to the equation. It's a byproduct of it, right?
100%. When you correct for yourself, you are the role model. That's it. And please keep in mind, this is not moralistic. Absolutely not. If being correct as yourself is to be a huge asshole, be it. And you will be an example. That's it.
Thank you. That's very freeing. I love that.
Yeah.
Thanks for speaking up, Stephanie. And we have a 6-2 projector born on the cross of the clarion. Now, what is a 6-2 projector going to guide people with that a 5-1 manifester born on the cross of the clarion wasn't capable of doing? Do you get the possibilities that you have? I mean, it's just absolutely outrageous. You're born on the opposition, Ra's a 51-57 on that cross. You're a 57-51 on that cross, okay? So instead of being a shocker, you're going to be an aware person who has this incredible capacity to be called out to guide other people to be a clarion to the degree that they're capable of it. You'll be speaking to their 6th lines and their 3rd lines because that's resonance and harmony. So, it's going to be an exciting time for you, 2027, because what manifestors used to be, now projectors will be. Projectors are going to take the place of the manifestor. The manifestor's job is done. Okay, there's plenty of us around. We've survived. Now, what's a 6-2 going to do to help people thrive on that same cross? This is going to be something beautiful to watch. So thanks for speaking up. Thanks for your contribution. Every contribution makes the diamond brighter. Not that we couldn't talk forever. We could. But it's really nice to bring people together and for everybody to find their voice and use their voice. Each and every person that has had something to say. It enriches all of us. It's mutual success. It's not about, look at me, look what I have to say. No, what you have to say enriches every single one of us. That's why we plead with people to participate. That's what these gatherings are about. There's classes to be taught from time to time, and there'll still be value in teaching classes from time to time. The thing about what Ben is really trying to express is 6 lines. We have no need to lead. We have no need to be led. We have an incredible need to be correct in ourselves. And then as you said, the side effect, the positive side effect of us being correct in ourselves, people will see that as role model. Good for them. Good for us. Good for everybody. But if you think a 6'2" is going to spend their life jumping in a well with people that are not paying attention, you don't know what a 6'2" is. They're aloof hermits, separate from the call unless it's a good call. But when someone gives you a good call, a 6'2" can really show up in the way that they can show up. Yeah. Everybody shows up in a different way. Every single one of those ways of showing up is of value. It's going to be very interesting to see. Are you in the hub right at the moment?
Am I where?
Are you in the hub? Are you?
No,
not
she's
in
not.
HUB27?
No, she's
okay,
not.
There was a Stephanie that just joined, and I didn't know if that's who we were talking to. Well, take a look at the hub. It's an incredible resource. You might find that you want to be a part of that. We're not selling anything here. We're offering something. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's such a bargain to be involved in the hub because there's so much information that Ben has accumulated and put together for people to have access to. Or I don't know what it costs, whatever it costs, it's cheap. I spent enough money in design to become a brain surgeon. Thank God I'm not one. We don't need brain surgeons, okay? But nonetheless, the amount of information that's available that could be useful to you is there. It's quite something to take a look at. Okay. It's going to be very interesting to be able to watch you. I hope we have the opportunity to do that.
Cool.
Okay, so can I
yes,
just share?
speak.
Oh, nice. Sorry, I was waiting for you just to finish, but like Ben was saying, if I don't initiate, Tom won't stop talking. So this is my first time. I'm from Portugal. My name is Marco. So it is. I wanted to say that is a huge step for me because this roof thing is catching up, and well, at this time my heart is racing. Just and I have always so much to share, and I even did this little paper that all the topics that we've been talking to, because I have a little opinions about everything. But first of all, Tom was saying in 2027 that projector are going to be the next manifestors and all of that. And you know what, Tom? I'm feeling like in this life I only want to be on vacation, using Ben's words, to live. And I don't know if I really need to in the future do anything like a manifestor like I am, but if someone is taking my place, I'm pleased to, because I'm I feel a lot of tiredness. I always felt that in my life, and that's catching up to me. And on this roof phase, I'm just I feel like I'm just healing every day. All that I want to do is heal, first of all, Ben talked about a while ago about on what he was interested in, only in mutation. And well, I was born under the 41st. So mutation is only what I want to do. So Ben, I'm with you all the way. And I felt like people need to really mutate so they can start living. And yeah, I was like I was a yoga teacher like for 15 years now, and in my life things just started to, I don't know how to even start to explain it, but this tiredness that I was feeling just catch up to me, and I stopped teaching. And I really don't want to do anything in this moment. And I'm dedicating my life to music. So once again, like was said here, only in the moments before, it's heartwarming, like talking to you guys or listening, because I'm just absorbing. I'm fairly new to HD. You know, I only have like 4 years or something, and even now I'm sensing like this racing to be yoga, to become a teacher in every aspect of human growing, like in yoga, like in HD. And well, I just want to disconnect of all of that. So mainly because in my first 30 years of my life, everyone was like once again, like it was already said, like everyone was telling me, I even remember when I was little, you have the brains, you have the power, you have everything on your hands, you are like this super everything. But I really didn't want to be anything. Even I think was Tom, like in the beginning, was telling about the family, or we make peace with family, or we just put them apart. And the last week, I just and no, last week, no, like last month, I was thinking over and over and over, like this situation I have with my dad, and I finally get into that real mutation point in my life, that the fear stopped, and I just said to me, well, I need to be my role model to my kid, because I really don't want him to have the life that I had, because my dad wasn't there for me, and I really want to be my own role model. And I'm just tired of this second channel projecting thing that everyone looks at me and says, you are just, and I just want peace and music. So that's what I wanted to share with everyone. Thank you all for listening and for being here.
Marco, are you a manifester? You're a 6-2 emotional what?
Manifestor, yeah.
Manifester. Manifestors are not being replaced. They're being given a different job. Okay? There's actually going to be more manifestors rather than less manifestors. But their job, their role is going to be different. It's not about survival anymore. So at any rate, that's a big conversation. We can get into it at some point in time, but I just want you to recognize the difference between saying that manifestors are being replaced. They're not being replaced. They're given a different role, and projectors are here to be the guides. That's all that's being said.
Yeah, thank you, Marco. Yeah, it was really nice hearing from you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm feeling a little bit tired. I don't have any more sacral energy, so I'm gonna close the Zoom for tonight. What Tom was referring, the HUB27 is this little platform that I created. It's a $27 membership, monthly, and we have tons of different topics and things, and we have weekly gathering on Zoom, and I was less present for the last 3 months with the duality, because I was just absorbed with myself. But hopefully Mutation, I will have more energy to be present in the hub and to bring mutation and some transformation on how we have been showing up, all the members, and what is created in the hub. And so if you guys are interested and you want to come and self-study with audios and meet all of us and spend time with all of us, you're very welcome. I put the link in the chat, and I will put the link in the bio when I put the recording up. So I think that's it for today. It was really nice to see all of you. Katie, it's good to see you. Jen, lovely Jen. Always good to see your smile with your big glasses. Gree, it was such a long time. I missed you, and Sherry and Cheryl. So it's cool to see all of you, and nice to see all those new people who show up. Especially that you guys are part of the 6-2 group on Facebook. So that was really cool to have you here. Bjorn, thank you for your contribution and thank you for your time today. I'm glad you get the chance to share. Yeah, Tom, final word.
I've said enough, but there's always a final word. And the final word is thank you all for showing up and for being present. And it's delightful to be in the presence of this kind of group. This really feels like family and community to me. And again, thank you for showing up.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it. Bye, everyone.
Okay.
Feel free to unmute and to say bye. Bye.
Till we meet again.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.